The phone call came in the evening. The voice on the other end was a torrent of hysterical sobbing. "You ruined my life!" she shrieked. "You're a monster!" It was Brenda! My mother, she saw the video, she wailed between ragged breaths. She said she is ashamed of me. And the police, they just left my apartment. They're charging me with assault. Assault? For what? A stupid joke? Do you have any idea what this will do to my career? I let her scream and cry, listening to the sound of her world collapsing. When her sobs finally subsided into whimpers, I said one thing, my voice calm and measured. "You shouldn't have smirked." Then I hung up. For 2 years, my day began in the same way. A quiet ritual at a local coffee shop, the daily grind. It was a small, cozy place with the rich, comforting smell of roasted beans, my sanctuary before the chaos of the workday. The staff knew my order, a large black Americano, and it was, for the most part, perfect. Except for her. Let's call her Brenda. Brenda treated the coffee shop as her personal kingdom, and the baristas as her serfs. Every morning was a new performance of her own importance. One day, her oat milk was insufficiently frothed. The next, the ambient music was an affront to her senses. She would snap her fingers and speak to the staff in a tone so condescending it was a shared misery among the other patrons. We all simply tried to ignore her. My interactions with her were minimal. That changed a few weeks before the incident. I had picked up my mobile order when she stepped directly into my path. "Excuse me," I said politely. She looked me up and down, a sneer forming. "Some people are in a hurry," she huffed. I simply sidestepped her and left, but it was clear that for some reason I was now on her radar. That should have been a warning. The day it all happened began like any other. I placed my mobile order and walked in. My drink was sitting on the pickup counter, my name clearly on the side. As I reached for it, a hand shot out and grabbed it. It was Brenda! "Excuse me," I said, my voice still calm. "I believe that is my coffee." She turned, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "Oh, did you want this? I'm so terribly busy." The mask of civility then dropped completely. Her face twisted. "Are you calling me a thief? In front of all these people?" The baristas looked over, nervous. The other customers went silent. "No, of course not," I replied, not wanting a scene. "It's a simple mix-up. I'll just wait for another." But she wasn't interested in a resolution. She was interested in dominance. She leaned in close, her voice a low hiss. "You think you're better than me, don't you?" A primal instinct told me to start recording. I discreetly angled my phone and hit the button. "I don't want any trouble," I said. "Please, just enjoy the coffee." And that's when she did it. She looked me directly in the eyes, popped the lid from the cup, leaned forward, and deliberately spit into my coffee. A thick glob landed right in the center of my black Americano. Then, she looked up at me, a triumphant, malicious smirk spreading across her face. That smirk, that would prove to be her undoing. She slammed the cup on the counter and sauntered out, leaving a stunned silence in her wake. I stood there, staring at the defiled coffee. The barista, Chloe, was horrified. "I am so sorry," she stammered. "I'll make you a new one. I'll refund you for the whole week." Instead of anger, I felt a strange, cold clarity. The smirk had changed everything. It was not an impulsive act. It was a calculated act of humiliation. And she had enjoyed it. "Don't worry about it, Chloe," I said, my voice steady as I stopped the recording. The footage was perfect, clear audio, an unobstructed view of her face, the act itself, and that final, damning smirk. "Actually, could you just confirm her full name for me?" "Brenda Peterson," Chloe nodded. "She works in marketing, always bragging about some big account." With that, I had what I needed. I left the coffee shop, not wanting a new coffee. I wanted accountability. When I got home, the first thing I did was make 3 separate backups of the video file. Evidence preservation was step 1. Step 2 was research. I channeled my anger into strategy. My first search was simple. Is spitting in food a crime? The results were illuminating. In my state, spitting in someone's food is indeed considered a form of assault. The potential consequences were significant. Fines, probation, and most importantly, a permanent criminal record. A record that would surely affect the big accounts she loved to boast about. The police were no longer a possibility, they were a certainty. But that was not enough. A criminal record was a long-term consequence. I wanted something more immediate, more personal. I remembered Chloe's words, Brenda Peterson. A few minutes of searching led me to her social media. Her profile was private, but I soon found a public comment on her photo from a Diane Peterson, which read, "That's my beautiful and successful daughter. Love you, honey." I clicked on Diane's profile. It was wide open, a public scrapbook of a proud mother's life. Diane, it seemed, was a pillar of the community who ran a local charity for underprivileged children. Her feed was filled with quotes about kindness, respect, and family values. She gushed about the wonderful, kind-hearted woman she had raised. The hypocrisy was staggering. This purveyor of public decency had raised a daughter who spits in people's coffee for sport. The plan was set, a two-pronged attack. First, the mother, for the social and familial impact. Then the police, for the legal and professional consequences. I would not contact Brenda directly. She would find out when her world started to crumble around her. The next morning, I drove to the address listed for Diane Peterson's charity. My heart was pounding with a kind of righteous energy. I walked in and spoke to the receptionist. "I would like to speak with Diane Peterson, please. It's a sensitive personal matter." A few minutes later, Diane emerged, looking exactly like her pictures, warm and smiling. "Hello," she said, extending a hand. "How can I help you?" "My name is Alex," I replied. "I apologize for arriving unannounced. I have something I need to show you regarding your daughter, Brenda." Her smile faltered. "Is she okay?" "She is physically fine," I said, my tone even. "But her behavior yesterday was alarming. I think it's best if you simply see for yourself." Intrigued, she led me into her private office, which was decorated with photos of Brenda and community service awards. "Mrs. Peterson," I began, "your daughter and I had a disagreement yesterday. It ended with her doing something I felt you needed to be aware of." I took out my phone, pulled up the video, and placed it on the desk. "Please, just watch this." I pressed play. I watched Diane's face as the scene unfolded. Her brow furrowed as she heard Brenda's shrill, accusatory tone. Then, the moment came. She watched her daughter, her beautiful, successful daughter, lean in and spit. A sharp gasp escaped Diane's lips. Her hand flew to her mouth, her eyes wide with disbelief. She watched the rest of the video in horrified silence, the saliva floating in the cup, and that final, triumphant smirk. The video ended. She stared at the screen, unable to process what she'd seen. Finally, she looked at me, her kind eyes now filled with profound shame. I don't know what to say," she whispered, her voice trembling. "That's not my daughter. I mean, it is, but I raised her to be better than that. To do something so vile." "The smirk is what stood out to me," I said quietly. She was proud of it. Tears welled in Diane's eyes. "I am so sorry. I am mortified. I will handle this. I promise you, I will handle this." "I don't require anything from you, Mrs. Peterson," I said, standing up. "I just thought you deserved to know who your daughter is when she thinks no one of importance is watching." I walked out, leaving her sitting alone, her world shattered by a 30-second video. Phase 1 was complete. The next day, I walked into the local police precinct and asked to file a report regarding an assault. An officer named Miller took my statement. He was skeptical at first. "So, she spit in your coffee, not on you?" "That is correct," I replied. "And I have a video of the entire incident." His posture changed. "You have a video?" "Yes, sir." I handed him the USB stick. He watched the footage with a grim expression. When the Smirk appeared, he let out a low whistle. "Well, that is quite unambiguous," he said. "You're right to file a report. Spitting in someone's food or drink is an assault." He took the USB stick as evidence and assured me they would be pursuing the matter. In the end, Brenda Peterson was charged with misdemeanor assault. To avoid a drawn-out court case, she pleaded to a lesser charge, resulting in a hefty fine, a year of probation, and court-ordered anger management sessions. I later heard from Chloe at the Daily Grind that Brenda's marketing firm had let her go due to a morals clause in her contract after the criminal charge came to light. Her mother, Deanne, made a significant donation to the coffee shop, enough to give all the baristas a large bonus. I have never seen Brenda again. I did not ruin her life. She did. She chose to be cruel. She chose to commit a criminal act. And she chose to smirk. I simply chose to hold her accountable. It was never about the coffee. It was about the entitlement and contempt of a person who thought they could humiliate someone without consequence. She learned the hard way that actions have repercussions.